An Idaho judge issued a gag order in the murder case against Bryan Kohberger, the man accused of killing 4 University of Idaho students.
Newswatch 16's Amanda Eustace spoke with a criminal defense attorney in Monroe County about what the order means for those trying the case in Idaho.
Shortly after Bryan Kohberger waived extradition here at the Monroe County Courthouse in Stroudsburg, a judge in Idaho issued a gag order. It limits what investigators, law enforcement personnel, attorneys, and members of both the prosecution and defense can say about the case.
Nothing about a multi-party homicide with an interstate run is typical, and that's what makes for it being national news.
Brett Regal is a criminal defense attorney with ARM Lawyers based here in Stroudsburg. He says a gag order is typically issued when a judge fears pretrial publicity could prevent an impartial jury from being seated or could even prevent the defendant from receiving a fair trial.
They're trying to make sure that nobody either intentionally or accidentally shares information that then has a big effect, because at some point in time, unless there is ultimately a guilty plea here, there's going to be a trial.
Sure.
At the time of trial, you need to be able to find a fair and impartial jury. How do you find a fair and impartial jury if the world is flooded with information?
However, under the ruling, authorities can still quote from or refer to the public record without making further comments. So what happens next now that Bryan Kohberger has been sent back to Idaho, where he faces charges of first-degree murder?
The ordinary steps are there's usually some type of a probable cause or preliminary hearing to make sure there's some evidence that would justify holding this person and making them respond to these charges. And then there may be some pretrial motions that could involve bail. It could involve the voluntariness of a confession. It could involve turning files over. It could be any number of things. And then somewhere down the line is a trial.
According to the gag order document, it reads in part, "This order shall remain in full force and effect throughout these proceedings until such time as a verdict has been returned." Amanda Eustace, Newswatch 16, Monroe County.